participating in civics, and what we're going to talk about today is political campaigns. So this is Political Campaigns 101. I'm
101.
101, wow, wow.
Perfect time for it.
Yeah, and also, if you were new to this, right? If you are not true to this, but are in fact new to this is what it's going to be like the entire time. Please do not expect a serious political conversation. Well, serious in that
It
what we're talking about is the truth, but not stiff
yeah, we're not stiff. That's not
at
gonna
all.
be it. No.
At all.
Anyway.
Just very casual,
Hi
very cool.
everybody. I am Erin Jackson Hill, and I'm the executive director of Stand Up Alaska and co-founder of the Alaska Civics Academy. And I'm pretty excited to get this kicked off. This is gonna be a big year for us, Alaska, Anchorage, America.
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 America. Big year for us. We are 4 months in, and it already feels like the longest year I've ever experienced in my life, but also the shortest year in the same amount of time. So, for those of you that are at the CERN facility tampering with space, time, and all that other stuff, I'd appreciate if you could scoosh me into a timeline that is better suited to my needs.
Well, could you
Anyway,
tell
if you
us
don't
who
know, I'm
you are?
participating in civics, and what we're going to talk about today is political campaigns. So this is Political Campaigns 101. I'm
101.
101, wow, wow.
Perfect time for it.
Yeah, and also, if you were new to this, right? If you are not true to this, but are in fact new to this is what it's going to be like the entire time. Please do not expect a serious political conversation. Well, serious in that
It
what we're talking about is the truth, but not stiff
Yeah, we're not stiff. That's not
at
gonna
all.
be it. No.
At
Anyway.
all. Just very casual,
Hi,
very cool.
everybody. I am Erin Jackson Hill, and I'm the executive director of Stand Up Alaska and co-founder of the Alaska Civics Academy. And I'm pretty excited to get this kicked off. This is going to be a big year for us, Alaska, Anchorage, America,
America.
America.
America. Big year for us. We are 4 months in, and it already feels like the longest year I've ever experienced in my life, but also the shortest year in the same amount of time. So, for those of you that are at the CERN facility tampering with space, time, and all that other stuff, I'd appreciate if you could scoosh me into a timeline that is better suited to my needs.
Well, could you
Anyway,
tell
if you
us
don't
who
know,
you are? Tell us who
oh,
you
yeah,
are.
sure. Hi.
Who you
I'm
be?
Okay, so my name is Shavon Shegog, and I am the program director of the Alaska Civics Academy and a stalwart member of the We Need to Fix Some Shit because it's not going great
Well,
committee, program, policy, organization. But yeah, that's who I am. I was born and raised in Alaska, graduated from Bartlett High School. And though I no longer live in Alaska, the people that I care about most in the world do. And Alaska will always be home to me. So what happens in Alaska matters a great deal to me.
I think it matters to the country, but we can get into that,
We can absolutely, absolutely.
100% get into that because I don't think people understand how critical Alaska is to, or the Arctic, I should say, is to the health of the planet. So
Yeah.
as we goes the rest of the United States. You guys are just a lagging indicator
Oop,
to climate change. So,
oop.
if you are interested in more content specifically about Alaska, I suggest you hit that like and subscribe button right now.
Okay. Come
But
on, call to action.
we're going to be talking about all kinds of things on this channel. But we did want to start out with political campaigns because number one, everything is political. And if you want to get something done, you need a campaign. So with that, I think Siobhan's going to take us into a land acknowledgement.
That is a fantastic segue. Before we talk about civics, it's important that we take a moment to acknowledge the people who came before us and those who stored the land. So, what I am going to do, like we always do, is read a land acknowledgement before we start our presentation. So, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that we are gathered today on the traditional lands of the Dena'ina, namely the Dena'ina Itna, Tanana, and Lutik Supigit peoples who have stewarded this land for thousands of years, long before Anchorage was called by that name, and they continue to live, lead, and grow in this place today. You can scan this QR code if you want to learn more about Native organizations to support that continue to lead Alaska and take care of her in a way that is sustainable and fruitful for everyone. So before we move forward, I just want to again extend that acknowledgement and say thank you to the people that came before. This is not our land. It is temporarily on loan to us for our children.
We
So
should
wanted
be
to
good
put that
guests
out there.
or
Thank
tour.
you. Thank you.
And
My mom always said, oh, go ahead.
you know what I'd like to do? I would like to do something that else that I'd like to start doing more often, which is a labor acknowledgement, right? And that's
Yes.
not, this isn't part of the slides, but it is really important that we as American acknowledge the unpaid labor that has gone into making this country what it is. We have had slaves, we've had indentured servitude, we've had indigenous folks that have been used basically as slaves in order to build the infrastructure of this country. And I think it's important that we acknowledge them as well as acknowledging the land that we're on. So that's my 10 cents.
I appreciate that. 10 cents, but worth a dollar.
All right.
Hey, can we also throw in, I mean, since we're acknowledging folks, I would also like to give a shout out to those who are incarcerated, who are typically, not typically, who are also, for all intents and purposes, slave labor.
Oh, they are.
Like,
If you look at the
and
Alaska Constitution, it's the only time slavery is
mhm.
allowed is when somebody is in jail.
Yep. So, if you do not know what we're speaking to, I strongly urge you, again, as she said, to like and subscribe, but also Google. Google is your friend and it is free for now.
Right.
Moving right along. So, what is the Alaska Civics channel? So, what we promote, like you can read the slides, and if you want in the future, I can read them verbatim to you. But basically, what we're working towards, because hope is not a plan. Oftentimes, you hear people say, well, we hope to do this. Hope is not a plan. Our job, our purpose in this space is to educate people on civics, how to engage with your local, state, federal government, how to, if you wanted to go to an assembly meeting and speak up, if you wanted to run for office, if you were interested in participating in a campaign, those are all things that are important to us and all things that we teach at the Alaska Civics Academy. And the Alaska Civics channel, which is uploaded, all of our videos are uploaded to YouTube as well as our social media platforms. The whole focus is to just give people a better understanding of how to work with, through, around, above, and below the government, how to affect change in your community. And one of the things that we always say when we have these conversations is if you do not know something that we're talking about, like if you don't know about a policy, if you don't know about a certain position, like what is a lieutenant governor, if you don't know what an alderman is or an assembly person is, if you don't know the difference between the state senate and the US Senate, that's probably not your fault. We don't spend a whole lot of time talking about this stuff in elementary school, certainly not middle school, and I can barely remember civics in high school. And that's no shade. That is no shade to my teachers. They
I was
worked
gonna
with
say it
as they
really,
were given.
it's not
Yeah,
shade to anybody because it's kind of
not at all.
designed that way, right? It's
It
kind
is
of
the system
designed to
working.
be right.
Yeah, the system is working as it's designed to. If you weren't so concerned with feeding your family, keeping the lights on, putting gas in the car, which I don't know what it is in Anchorage right now, but yesterday gas was 5.35 here in Portland, Oregon. If you are worried
It
about putting
is
gas in your car, you are not thinking about your council member. And that's just what it is. You're not thinking about your assembly person. What is gas in Anchorage right now?
it's just about $5 and we are a gas producing state.
Shh, Mary and Joseph. Oh. I remember, and this is gonna date me. I feel like my grandma, but when I was in high school, gas was $1.12, and I remember when it hit $2, and I remember thinking it's never gonna go back down. It's never gonna go back down because people got
Prices don't go
comfortable.
back down.
They don't. People got comfortable paying $2 a gallon. I would be hard pressed to find someone that's gonna be comfortable paying $5 a gallon. I don't imagine people are gonna like let this slide, and I'm very excited to see what happens. Um, maybe too excited.
You're just
um,
excited for change, right? Like, and
yes,
positive change.
positive change.
People always talk about change. People
Yeah,
voted for certain administrations because they wanted a change. They wanted a
yeah,
disruptor. How's that
and
working out for us now?
votes have consequences. Now, I'd say I'm excited. I'm not watch list excited. to whatever agent is watching our channel. But I'm pretty excited. Here's a little bit more about the two of us that you see in front of you. I'm Shavon Shegog. As I said before, I am a program manager with a passion for social justice, and no matter what anybody says, I will always be a proud Bartlett High School alumni. I will always be proud to be from be from B Town. And the co-presenter over here, the lovely Erin Jackson Hill. Yes,
Well,
I don't, you may have seen her on TV. You may
yes,
have seen her with a bullhorn. You may have seen her on the news. You may have seen her at the nail shop. It's Erin Jackson, people. It's
it's
Erin Jackson Hill.
it's so true. Um, Yeah. So, like I said, I'm the executive director of Stand Up Alaska and Alaskans Take A Stand, and we promote social, racial, environmental justice in the state of Alaska. We've been doing this work since 2018, and it has been it's been a ride. It's been a ride, but we are the people that you see in the streets that do things like the No Kings rally that just happened in Anchorage. And I think we had about 5,000 people in downtown Anchorage. So we're the
Well,
people that you see in the streets, and we are also the people that you will meet with our legislatures to help them
mhm.
understand why it's important that they support the people of Alaska and not just corporations in the oil industry. So
Question, Erin, what is it like to be a local celebrity?
I wouldn't know. I don't know. Ask Maria Downey. I don't know.
Oh, I remember watching her on the news, her and Jackie Purcell. Oh my God. Oh, throwback. Okay. I was like, feel like super nostalgic. You know, one time when I worked at Baskin Robbins, I made her an ice cream cone and I was like, how come Fox Kids stopped playing Superman? And she was like, I don't know. Or Spider-Man. It was Spider-Man. I was like, when are they gonna start showing new episodes? And she's like, I do the news, little girl. Anyway, so here's what we're going to be talking about today. So the first thing is what exactly is a political campaign? And then we're going to move into the moving parts of a campaign. So what are the different pieces? What's the different functions of those pieces? How do those pieces work together? And then the last part of today's conversation will be finding your place. It's not enough for us to talk about what this is and how it works. What wow. It's not enough to talk about what this is and how it works. We also want to talk about how we can help you engage. It's great that we're doing this, but we've been doing this. We've been in the trenches, and now what we're looking to do, what we've always looked to do, is how to involve other people and to empower other people to get involved and get in the trenches with us. So that's what we'll be talking about. And as a matter of fact, I mean that's pretty much what the Alaska Civics Academy is all about. Stand Up Alaska and Alaskans Take a Stand is getting people to understand that not only do they have skin in the game, but they can move within the game. They can
Mhm.
affect change on their own. It doesn't have to be, not everybody is going to be Dr. Martin Luther King, and you don't have to be. Dr.
No.
Martin Luther King would not have been Dr. King without the support staff that he had, and we are happy to play that role. Make sense?
Yeah, well said, Siobhan. Well said.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, fish is educated. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the smooth taste fool you. I can talk good when I want to. All right. So, what makes this so important? Right. And I know it sounds like a no-brainer question, but we should probably have a little bit of conversation about this. So, we're going to talk about campaigns and how they work. And then later in the year, we're going to talk about the issues defining the midterm elections. And the goal is at the end of this, you'll understand how to get involved with the campaigns that reflect your values. You do not have to agree with us. We'd love it if you did. We'd love it if you felt the same way that we do. But we have different views on a lot of things, even within our organization. I do not always agree with the things that Erin agrees with, and nor does she with my opinions, right? And that's part of what makes it work so well is that we can hold space for each other and our views in a respectful way, as well as allow different voices to come in, right? Like
Mhm.
I've learned so much from people that I didn't necessarily agree with, but they have in every
Probably the
conversation
most.
that we've had. Probably the most, because it's really easy to just get along, and people saying the things that you agree with and not challenging you. That's easy. It's the discussions that make things a little bit tougher, and really make you sit back and utilize those critical thinking skills that we could all use a little more of.
Amen.
So that's what this is about. All right. So 2026 is full of elections. If you don't know, now you know.
There is
So
one going on right now.
right
That
now
is
in
the
April.
Anchorage municipal elections.
Hmm.
You should have received your ballot in the mail. Please, 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 we're telling everybody, don't mail them in at this point. Drop them off. Find a drop
Hmm.
box, go to City Hall, drop them off. Do not trust it to the mail at this point. It's too important.
It's too risky, and that is no shade to anyone. The post office is going through it right now, and
Mm.
they do not have the resources to ensure that every ballot is sent off when it should be and is counted when it should be. Your best bet, if you want to make and to ensure that your vote is being counted, you need to drop it off. If you don't know where to drop it off, there are plenty of resources to help you find a ballot box. If you need a ride to a ballot box, call a friend, phone a friend. But it is so importante that you are getting your ballots in before the election is over. In August, there is a state primary, and that will choose who's going to be on the final November ballot for the midterms. That one right there, get in on it. Get in on it. Just mark it in your calendars, phone a friend, whatever you have to do. Please do not miss out on that because that will be who you end up voting for in November. So there's city
Did you know
elections.
we have 18 people running for governor?
Are you
18.
serious?
Yes,
Good Lord.
18. So you should be able to find somebody in there that represents your views.
And you should be able to suss out those who don't immediately. And here's
Right?
why I say that. With that many people running in this race, with that many people running for government, it is going to be imperative that the candidates have a very clear and succinct message that sets them apart from the other candidates. If you are watching someone and they aren't making any sense to you, and when they're done speaking, you're left sitting there like, what the hell are they talking about? That is not the candidate for you. I am telling you right now, and this is me being as nonpartisan as possible because there are plenty of people on that have this that share very similar beliefs that I have that I look at and I'm like, the fuck did you just what did you just say? That doesn't make any damn
Girl,
sense.
it's the truth.
That
It is
doesn't make any
100% the
sense.
truth. I am thinking of an individual right now that
Girl,
they say a lot to say nothing. And they align very closely politically with me, but I'm always like,
what's that song where she says you say it best when you say nothing at all?
at all.
That right there. That right there. If you can't tell me who you are, what your beliefs are, what your policies are, between 30 seconds and a minute, I'm out. I'm absolutely and you can blame that on social media. You can blame that on a short attention span, whatever. But I truly feel what did Einstein? Einstein said if you can't explain a concept in like a minute, then you don't understand it.
Well, I do some consulting for campaigns, and
Hmm.
that is the first question I ask any candidate that asks me to help them, volunteer for them,
Hmm.
work for their campaign, any of that. I always ask them, why are you running? And if you can't answer that and make me feel something,
Hmm.
then I'm probably not going to vote for you. And I have talked
Absolutely.
to a lot of candidates that were not even able close to making me feel anything else, but it's time for you to retire. Yeah, I said it.
We we saw this action movie with Liam Neeson and it was terrible. And the
Nah,
reviews about the movie
Liam
were just as bad.
Neeson.
Liam Neeson needs to stop. That's what they said in the reviews. And when you start rambling and stuff, I just think that Liam Neeson needs to stop. No tea, no shade. Love, freaking love Taken, but it's time. It's time for you to be taking a nap.
It's time
Anyway,
for all of us, okay?
yeah.
Time comes for all of us. We can't do.
Yeah. You
Anyway,
can't, yeah, girl. What the guy say? Diapers and politicians are the same and need to be changed just
change,
as frequently or something
yeah,
like that. Like, yeah,
often, often.
often. Yes.
I couldn't agree more. Anyway, sorry,
So
we
back.
digress.
This is
Check
what's going.
check your municipal website or your city
Mhm.
website definitely to see if you have local elections, because honestly, local elections affect your politics more than anything else. So
Yep.
make sure that you don't allow other people to make decisions for your communities without you having a voice.
Yep. Oh, so just an example of this, and maybe we cut this later, but years ago, we were gonna do our family is known for having phenomenal garage sales. Like we go all out. We put up signs and all kinds of stuff. And there was one garage sale we made like $1,500. And this was in the 90s. So that kind of
Hmm.
money is unheard of for a garage sale. One night, well, actually, weeks we spent making these signs every day after school, every day. After school on the weekends, we made signs and we put them up the night before the garage sale all over town. Well, the next day, nobody came to our garage sale and we couldn't figure out what was going on. So we went out to go see like where our signs, maybe some of our signs fell down. Now we lived off of Turpin, just to give you an example. We lived off of Turpin. We had signs all the way over on Muldoon and all the way up and down Northern Lights. We had signs on the bar. We had signs on Baxter, just telling people to come to our house on Turpin. We go driving around. There are no signs anywhere. All of our signs are gone. And we were like, what the hell? Well, we found out later that 2 weeks before we'd done our garage sale, the city council had passed, I don't, was it a
It
law? I can't,
was an ordinance.
it was an ordinance that you can't put up garage sale signs the way that we were doing it. And it was enforced the night before our garage sale. So literally, we put up all these signs, had no idea people in trucks were coming up behind us taking the signs. And that is something that we could have avoided if we'd known our city politics,
True,
but we didn't know. And
true.
now it's just like that was one of those things that got me thinking, like, well, what else is happening that I don't know about? And I'm like 15 at the time, but that is an example how local politics really impact people. We had no idea. You remember that? We had
Yep,
no clue. All of our signs gone,
I do.
literally because of an ordinance that had been passed 2 weeks before. Just
Right.
crazy.
Hmm.
Um, and then the last election there's going to be city elections in October, Fairbanks, Juneau, Matsu area, etc. And then the state general elections are in November, and that's state and national issues. And those are the ones that typically get the most press. But again, we encourage you to stay vigilant about the elections that are happening at the local level because those will impact you far quicker than the ones at the federal and state level. Like again, within 2 weeks, our signs were gone.
Right.
Alrighty. So next. So every campaign in Alaska, from Anchorage Assembly to governor, starts with at least one idea or person, and that person is elected and becomes a politician. As you can see up there is Mary Patola and then John Wayne. I almost said Gacy because
No.
that's just what I am. I am a true crime junkie, and I'm sure he's a lovely person. So please don't go running back and be like, "They called you a serial killer." No, we didn't. That's just my ADHD. But that is what a politician is: someone who's elected and starts speaking on behalf of their constituents. Constituents being the people that voted for them, and also the people that did not. You represent the people when you become a politician. So keep that in mind.
We should
Oftentimes,
mention that Nick Begich is also in that picture.
Nick Begich is also in the picture.
Moving on.
Moving right along. So, a few need to knows. The politicians, they make the rules. They're the ones that are going to bring forth the change and ideas to be considered, and they are elected by the people. So, whether we like it or not, our politicians have quite a bit of power and control over our lives, and they are the ones that set the rules that we have to follow. But what we're talking about today is how does the politician get there? How are they being elected into office? And that's typically through a political campaign. Most politicians are in place because they campaign for it. It's very rare that someone just kind of pops in. Usually that happens if like um, the person that is in the role passes away, right? Either,
Mhm.
naturally or unnaturally, and then you kind of get bumped up. But also that person, when they were running with the candidate that's no longer in office, you're also voting for like if something happens to this person, this is the person that's going to step in. When you vote for a candidate, you are also voting for their running mate.
So what we see right here is an actual dictionary definition of the word campaign. And when we hear the word campaign, most of us think elections, like yard signs, TV ad debates. But a campaign at its essence is really just a group of people working together to play with a plan to persuade others. And so it's just working in an organized way with a group of people to typically it's to achieve a political or social end.
Well said.
Thank you, darling. So every campaign involves certain things. It involves people, that's the volunteer and staff. It involves a plan, whether that be talking to voters, it could be phone calls, it could be door knocking, it could be social media, it could be hosting events. There's definitely the two things that are definitely always associated with a campaign or good campaigns anyway, is a strategy and a timeline. And then the other thing is the third thing is a message. And so, what they want, what you want when you're doing a campaign, it's what you want people to believe or support. And the message is generally very simple and repeated over and over again. And a campaign always has a goal. It's either to win an election, pass a law, stop a policy, raise awareness. We have to think about it beyond just elections, right? Campaigns are not just for politicians. There's ballot measure campaigns, uh, school funding campaigns. There's an environmental campaign that is ongoing in Alaska. You could have something like a Save the Library campaign, or unions have campaigns. Often, Stand Up Alaska works on community issue campaigns. So you see, there can be all these different types of campaigns, and you'll see there that was the campaign where I actually got my start was on the Recall Dunleavy campaign. I was the statewide coordinator for the Recall Dunleavy campaign, and I think in that picture you can see the campaign chair, Mita DeWitt. So that was a campaign that actually was the largest grassroots campaign ever in the state of Alaska. So campaigns can be about just about anything. So let's see. If you had to pick which one of these was a campaign, a group texting friends about dinner, a person complaining online, a team organizing neighbors to stop a new highway, or a group collecting signatures for a ballot initiative, what of those would be a campaign? Dun, dun, dun. Actually, it's two. Opposing the highway and collecting signatures are both samples of campaigns. So, opposing a highway, for example, um, there were proposed improvements to the Sterling Highway, particularly around the Cooper Landing bypass. And it's centered on concerns about environmental, cultural, local impacts with residents, tribal groups, and local officials challenging route choices and potential harm to salmon habitat, archaeological, or I can't say that word,
Archaeological.
archaeological sites and community character. And if you have ever driven in that area that I'm talking about by Cooper Landing, you know that there is definitely a character to that community. Critics have also raised issues about property access, increased development pressure, and the long timeline and the rising cost of a project, which has been debated for decades. During the National Environmental Policy Act review process. While state planners argue that the project will improve safety and reduce congestion, these objections have fueled and sustained debate for public comment on the highway's future. So, I mean, right now in that area, the local folks are discussing what is that going to look like if they change the highway in that area. But not only are the local folks discussing it, that's going to be a state issue because that is a state road, right? And so you're elevating it to the state level and knowing how much it's going to cost to repair that road and do any major infrastructure to that road, you are talking, and now you're talking about a federal issue because federal dollars are going to be used to improve that road if it is improved. So that's just one example. Like I said, another example is the Recall Dunleavy movement, and that was a statewide effort in actually, God, I can't believe it was 2019. And it was a large, multi-partisan effort for the opponents of our current governor, Mike Dunleavy, and folks were really unhappy about his budget cuts and a few other actions that he was taking. And we tried to get him removed from office. And it was two rounds of signature gathering. And on the first round, we needed 28,500 to start the process. We actually submitted 49,000 signatures within 5 weeks. It was well above the mark that we needed, almost double, and we were really close to recalling the governor. The only thing that stopped us was COVID, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another example of a campaign. So you see that there was a timeline, there was a strategy, there were goals specifically for that. So we had people, we had a plan, we had a message, definitely. We had a goal, and those are all the things that make up a good campaign.
Really appreciate how succinct the messaging was for the Recall Dunleavy. It was very much, it's not that we don't like him. It's not like it wasn't personal. It was these choices that are being made are negatively impacting Alaskans. I remember one of the things, I didn't even live there, and I remember one of the things reading about him saying he did what? Cut the budget for snow plows,
Mhm.
for snow removal. And if you are an Alaskan resident, you know how important it is that the roads are clear, especially for kids standing under streetlights waiting for buses. When those roads aren't clear, when the sidewalks aren't clear, children are forced to stand in the street. In Alaska, in the winter, is dark. It's
It's
super
dangerous.
dark and it's dangerous, and the roads are slick as snot. And it is just a disaster waiting to happen. Another thing for those of you who are not from Alaska that might be tuning in, as silly as this sounds to you because you're not from Alaska, moose are a problem.
Hmm.
When the snow gets to a certain level, moose typically don't have a hard time getting through snow, but when it's deep, they will come into the roads, which are a little bit clearer. Kids are in those roads. Moose have terrible eyesight, fantastic hearing, and shitty tempers.
Yes, they
They don't
do.
like kids. They don't like children at all, at all. So you are setting up
They're not
kids to
that
be
crazy
hit by
about
cars.
people. Yeah.
No, but especially kids with snowballs. They really don't like that. So it was a calamity just waiting to happen. And so reading like you did what with the budget for snowplows? Like of all of the things to take money away from, that's what you chose. So the messaging was like he is endangering people, right? Like it's very clear messaging. And that was one of the reasons why that campaign was so successful because it wasn't a bunch of muddled, we're going to do this, and make all these false promises. It was this, these policies are dangerous to Alaskans and they need to be changed. And if you're not going to change them, then you need to go.
Right. So what is the purpose of a campaign? Purpose of a campaign is to win hearts, minds, and votes, right? The one thing we should know is that people vote with their heart more than their mind. And that is clear.
Lord,
That is
that
very
is
clear.
very clear.
Whether we like it or not, the fact that we have to deal with that. That is the truth.
Hmm.
Intellectualism does not, it does matter in campaigns, but people won't care if your campaign doesn't have heart behind it. There's definitely something to be said for educating people. And as a campaign, you should be trying to educate people. However, the purpose of a campaign is to win. So
All
if
I
you
do is
make
win, 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 no matter what. Sorry, I got excited.
if you make winning the focus of your campaign, everything else will fall into place.
Okay, I like that.
So, we know what the big idea of a campaign is, but what does that look like in practice? Like, okay, I kind of knew all that, Erin, is what you're saying. But what does it look like in practice? Like, how do you really do it? So the image shown is an example of what goes into a high level state campaign. Smaller campaigns, say for city office, are typically pared down versions of, oh, I'm sorry, I missed the slide, my bad. Um, so that's what a big campaign looks like, right? You see all of the different positions and you see that the candidate actually is kind of outside the campaign organization. Smaller campaigns, say for city office, are just basically pared down versions of that campaign. And most campaigns, it's important to note, are operated by volunteers. On large campaigns, those positions that you see might be paid, but I can tell you, especially in Alaska politics, a lot of those, especially when you're talking about canvassing and doing small events and office work and stuff like that, it's run by volunteers. Without volunteers, a lot of campaigns wouldn't happen.
Absolutely. And as you're listening to this and looking on the screen, think about your particular skill sets. If you're someone who is interested in participating in a campaign or educating others on what a campaign looks like, take a look at this. And this is a very broad uh, outline of what a campaign actually looks like, but see where your skills fit in. Personally, I am not a strategy person. You are not going to look to me to do strategy, but what I can do are comms. I can do media, right? Finance, that's also not my ministry. Just thinking about my own personal finances, that's not what I was made here to do. I'm not here to do that. That's not what what is for you will find you, and being a finance director has never found me. But there are different things you can do, like literature drop, office work. So if you're someone that wants to put up signs, awesome. If you are someone that wants to post on social media, if you want to do data entry, so being the person that takes all of the people that have signed up to be volunteers and making them digital so that you can create an email list. If you want to canvas, if you want to build yard signs, we have workshops where we just give people art supplies and you make signs for rallies or events that we're doing. And
Mhm.
it's a fantastic way. In addition to serving your community, it's a great way to build and strengthen community. We have made so many strong connections by just hosting volunteering events.
True, true.
Yeah.
So let's talk about let's dig in a little bit and talk about the different portions of a campaign. So, this is obviously point, it's pointing to the candidate, and it's either going to be the candidate or the issues, right? And so the candidate is the face and the voice of the campaign. That might be your spokesperson if it's an issue-based campaign, but let's stick with the candidate model. They're the ones that share their vision and values with the voters, and they inspire trust and drive the team. I'm gonna I quibble with that just a little bit, having worked on a campaign before, is they aren't necessarily one that drives the team. They kind of set the tone for the team, but the
Mhm.
campaign manager is the one that drives the team, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would not disagree. I wouldn't disagree. The candidate is the face.
The
It's the
candidate
person
is the
with the
face.
idea.
Yes.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It's the person with the idea, and also quite I mean, we keep it a buck here. We keep it 100 every time. This is the person that's willing to take the shots.
Yeah.
Right, because it's not typical that you're going to go after the campaign manager or the person who's putting up the signs. It's going to be that guy or that lady, that girl, that person, that boy. It's going to be the person that is leading the charge. And to heavy is the head that wears the crown. If you decide that you want to be a candidate, then you have to make sure that you are stalwart enough in your belief system to take what's coming. You're typically, if you are elected, when you are elected, you're going to be in a position of great power. And if you can't handle a little bit of heat, it's probably not for you. It's probably not for you.
Probably no, it's not for you.
No. My
Um,
self-esteem is not strong enough to run for any type of all you got to
I
say
will
is
tell
one
you
time.
that it's not, they might come after the campaign manager, but the only reason why they're going to come after the campaign manager is to get to the candidate, right? And
Mhm.
so there, we see it all the time that different positions within a campaign might get attacked, but they're really doing it to knock the candidate off their stride. And so like she said, heavy is the head that wears the crown. So if you want to be a candidate, you should make sure that, and we encourage anybody that wants to run, go to run for something
Mm-mm.
and sign up. But know that it is an ask. It's a heavy ask to be in political office because you're representing people and people are complex. So
And yeah, and one of the things about being a candidate is if you are put in front, it's because people trust you and they believe in your messaging
mhm,
and they believed in you enough, like in a primary, to vote to put you on the ballot. And that's not nothing, right? That's pretty substantial. You have to be able to cast a future, a vision of a future that people want to see, but also align that future with what your constituents want, your voters want. And it's your job as a candidate to persuade people and bring them along with you for the ride. And being a candidate, that's tough in terms of time commitment, right? Um,
mm.
you can't see this as the viewer, but we had access to a candidate's calendar, 6 a.m. reviews notes before an interview, 9 a.m. You're going to a local business to talk to workers and talk about cost of living. Noon, you're going to a fundraising lunch. 3, you're doing social media posts. 6, you're speaking at a town hall in Anchorage. 9:30 p.m., you're debriefing with the campaign manager. And just maybe after that, you get to eat something and get a nap in before you're doing the same thing the next day, over and over and over. And once you get elected, it doesn't stop. And we're not, and I don't, please don't feel like we're trying to scare you out of running for something. Absolutely not. What we are doing is educating people on the realities of this work. This
Yeah.
is, it's a lot of work, and sometimes it is thankless. You can do everything right, and there's still going to be someone that's like, yeah, well, I don't like you because dot, dot, dot. So, like, as we talk about this, consider, do I want to run for something or do I want to be in the supporting role? Do I want to be out front? Do I want to be behind the scenes?
Right.
Personally, I'm pretty good at being behind the scenes. Every once in a while, I peek my head out. I'm like, oh hell no, this looks terrible, and go, and go right back into hiding.
All right. Well, now, moving on from the candidate, this is really the head of the organization, and that is the campaign manager. They lead the strategy. They are basically the COO, so they lead the daily operations. They coordinate with all the teams. They establish the ethos of winning. They are the ones that actually take the candidate's vision and values and turn it into an action plan. They also make key decisions under pressure so that the candidate, you're not constantly asking the candidate to make decisions while under pressure because lots of times they are pulled in so many different directions, as Shavon just indicated, that first of all, they don't have necessarily the bandwidth to make a decision, nor do they necessarily even have all of the information to make the best
That's
decision.
it too.
That would
So,
be the campaign
make,
manager. So chief strategist,
hmm
operations leader, part CEO. EO, part quarterback. They oversee every function from messaging to finance and ensure that all of the departments work together.
If you are someone who's really good at holding data and being able to spit facts, right? Like if somebody asks you a question, if you're someone that's good at having the answers, this is the job. This is the job. If you were someone who does not mind a phone call at 3 a.m. to talk about
Mhm,
polling numbers, if you were
mhm.
someone that doesn't mind being on KTUU 1 minute and then Fox the next second, and then being on Magic 92.9 or whatever radio station is having politicians come on, or like NPR. If you were someone who doesn't mind reading all of what's going on AP and then switching over to CNN and then going to Fox News and then going to Al Jazeera and then going to BBC, retaining all of that while also telling people, I need you to get more volunteers in this area. I need more social media posts. I need, oh my gosh, something just happened that was awful. I need crisis management. I need you to write a statement. If you are someone that's really good at juggling, this is an awesome opportunity for you.
It's the perfect opportunity for you.
Absolutely.
And you kind of have to be good at multiple things. You don't have to be the best at everything, but you should probably have a good handle on or be comfortable with finance and comms and ops. Like you should communication should not be brand new to you if you're a campaign manager, right?
If you are someone who is the eldest daughter of a single mother or has ADHD and has learned how to manage it, this is for you. This is absolutely, you will absolutely thrive in this space or just be a boiling ball of fire and terror. You
And I
will.
can tell you, working in this field, I can tell you there are not enough trained campaign managers in
Mm.
Anchorage, Alaska. So if you want to learn how to be a campaign manager, there's a couple of different organizations that I know. I belong to Alaska Women Ascend. They train people to not just be candidates, but every single one of these roles they train women to succeed in. So Alaska Women's Ascend, if you're interested in any of these roles. Okay.
This one,
Move.
I like this one a lot.
What?
Um,
Operations manager?
I do,
Really?
because their job is to keep the campaign running smoothly. So they handle logistics, compliance, scheduling. This is all about managing a calendar. And if
Right.
you are good at managing a calendar, this is your jam because they're the ones that like, did we get enough t-shirts and pins? Do we have enough people passing them out? Okay, wait, how much did we spend on those pins? Because that's going to put us over budget. Maybe we can find those pins cheaper at pins.com or whatever, the Zazzle or whatever. You are constantly looking at budgets, you're constantly in communication with finance. If, oh, this is another one. If you have a field team out in the boonies doing canvassing and their hotel, for whatever reason, is overbooked, your job is to find them a new hotel. Your job is to make sure that they have a place to sleep. And then you're updating the campaign calendar. You're making sure everybody's getting paid. You're making sure everybody's within compliance. So has everybody done all their training? No. Well, then you need to come back in from the field because you're a liability. What does our insurance coverage say? So I like this role. I wouldn't want to do this role, but it's fascinating to me because it's just like you're the one that's making sure that your campaign is above the red line, right? Because you don't want to go over budget or below the red line, I guess. You don't want to go over budget, but you're also making sure that legally y'all are good. Your campaign
Right.
is doing what it's supposed to do. This one right here, a bad operations manager will get people put in prison.
Yes.
You will
That
go to
and
jail. And
finance.
I know that sounds really like, oh my God, so, but you're talking about campaign finances. You will go to jail for mismanagement of funds. You will
Yeah, you
absolutely,
can.
and saying, oh, I didn't know. The law doesn't care if you knew or not. Again, I know this sounds like, oh my God, you could go to jail for this. Absolutely. And we want to impress upon you the gravity of these positions before you're like, oh yeah, no, let me be the finance director. You need to understand all that goes into it before you make a decision like that because these are real stakes. Hell, the operations manager is part of why Nixon got in trouble, right? The
That's so fun.
operations.
Oh, look, there's our operations manager. I didn't even notice that. Uh, the pink arrow on the the picture is pointing
He's
to
gonna die when he sees
A
this.
stand-up Alaska's operations manager, and that is
Hmm.
Ryan Anderson. I love it. And
Ryan.
he is the backstop for the organization, right? He's the one who says we need to look at this and make sure that this is safe.
Yep.
He's the one you will often he says all his job is to move tables and chairs because lots of times he will be the one doing logistics for our events. So,
Hmm.
really important, really important role on any campaign, I would say, for sure.
To give you an example of a phrase that he uses quite a bit is, oh my God. Oh my God. Because every time we have an idea and he's like, we need insurance for that. Or who's gonna make sure that that's safe? Like Ryan is he is the one that he keeps me out of jail. Next.
Me too.
I mean, I look good in orange and everything, but nobody's trying to come down to Seward to visit me. Just
Right.
saying.
I would.
You.
Okay, so we're moving on to communications manager, and this is a role that is so key. And I must say that Stand Up Alaska does not have a communications manager, and it is one of the roles that I am just the next role that I'm filling is this role.
Well,
But this
if you are someone who is good at shaping a narrative, if you're great at social media, right? If you're,
it's a big job. It
it's
is
a
a
huge job.
big job because this person controls the narrative. They manage
Hmm.
press relations,
Yep.
social media, advertising, and message discipline, which we are horrible at. Their job is to ensure that every tweet, quote, and video supports the campaign's central story and candidate's brand. They would be the ones that would help set up an interview and work on the candidate with their responses, right? Um, they ensure that all of the content supports either the vision of the candidate or in our instant the vision of our board of directors, right? And so a comms manager, the comms role is I would say in a campaign the third most important role. Your first is going to be your campaign manager. The second is going to be whoever is in charge of your finances, whether that be treasurer or your ops person or whoever's going to do finances. And your third is your comms person. Like having standardized communications and kind of a brand as you go through a campaign is super important.
Staying on message. This is another one for if there is, let's say your candidate says something that is inappropriate, or your candidate's opponent says something that's inappropriate. That communications manager, they're tuned in. So not only are they watching their candidate, they're watching the other candidate, looking for slip ups, looking for misspeak. They're looking for anything that will help support the narrative of your candidate so they can take that information, flip it into a real quick 30-second snip and put that out there. So if that's you, if you are someone that's really good at juggling multiple, not just your candidate's candidacy, but the other team, like whatever they're doing, this is something that you're good at. Think of it like if you are reviewing game tape or footage from another team, you're always looking at your team's game day footage, but you're also looking at your opponents so that you can suss out their weaknesses, right? That's what this person does constantly. They're constantly just inundated with both what their campaign is doing and what every other campaign is doing.
Makes sense. Moving on to finance. Um,
Finance.
yeah, this is interesting. So the finance team, now this is the part, this is actually finance kind of falls under operations, and
Hmm.
this is the finance person who is ever is in charge of your finance. That's where the rubber meets the road because we have not only do we have the Alaska Public Offices Commission that you have to do reporting to, you may have to do reporting to the IRS. And if you're doing a federal campaign, like at the level of US House or US Representative, there's additional. tracking that you have to do
Mhm.
as a federal candidate. And so not only are you tracking the money, but you're also helping fundraise for the money. So a finance team is doing the fundraising and they are tracking where the money goes. And I will tell you that this is somebody who is meticulous.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
somebody who tracks every receipt and wants
Mhm.
every I dotted. The person that is your finance person is somebody that is pretty much that 8 to 5 person that is constantly there, that is consistent, that wants to follow every single rule. Like
Yep.
that's who you want as your finance person or on your finance team because they ensure that the campaign's finance laws, you stay in compliance with that. They make sure that your finances stay on track and they also raise your campaign funds. So I can't stress enough how important this team is and how important it is to get the right person in place for this. Like, I
Mhm.
would probably spend more time vetting a finance person than any other person on the team.
Yep. 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 I got nothing to add to that. This person keeps you out of jail.
Right. Next, we're going to go on to policy team. The
Yes.
the policy lead ensures the candidates' positions are accurate, coherent, and defensible. They draft issue briefs, respond to questionnaires, and prep the candidates for debate and interviews. They also pressure test those policies to find out where are the holes in the policies and how do we deal with those holes. A day in the life. Oh, I love this. A day in the life, 7:30 a.m. Reviews new legislation relevant to campaign issues. 10 a.m. Writes a one-pager on affordable housing in Alaska. 2 p.m. Joins a strategy meeting to align messaging on climate policy. 4:30 p.m. Edits talking points for a town hall Q&A. 7 p.m. Reads opposition research over tea or coffee or wine, making notes
Come
for
on.
tomorrow's prep session. So that's kind of the day in the life of your
Mhm.
policy advisor. It is not as this is for people who really love research.
Oh my God.
Like if you are into research and writing,
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
is for you. If you aren't
All
a
day.
people person, but you are really cerebral and you have, especially if you have some policies that you have really dug in on that you want to help influence your candidate about, this is a great way to do that. This is an
Absolutely.
amazing way to do that because the candidate probably has wide swath policies on most of the major issues, right?
Mhm.
But the policy research is what really, really informs their position. And if you get on this team or you end up being this person, you can actually affect the policy, especially if that person gets elected, right? So if
Mhm.
you're really into climate or you're really into housing justice, or you're really into food sovereignty, man, get in on an elected official's not only even if they don't win, you can affect what's being talked about
Yep.
during the campaign. Like this is an amazing opportunity for especially like college age people that are already doing a lot of research anyway.
Mhm.
If you are in environmental science or political science or any of the sciences and you want to actually affect change, this is the ticket right here.
Your as a policy lead, your research informs what the comms director talks about.
Hmm.
And the comms director is who gives the information to the campaign manager, who then gives that information on to the candidate. Your research directly impacts the messaging. Your research directly impacts the vision and the scope of what your candidate is talking about. So again, like she said, if you have strong research skills, if you have access to like EBSCO, or because for those of you who are not familiar, EBSCO is a academic research search engine basically that pulls up academic papers. So it's like Google for nerds.
Oh,
There's all kinds of there's all
policy is
kinds
for
of things.
nerds.
Yeah,
Policy is
yeah.
for
If you're a nerd and
nerds.
you love digging deep into stuff, if you are someone who is into user experience and research, this is also for you because you will be sponsoring surveys and focus groups. You'll be doing A/B testing. You'll be taking that information that you get from the A/B testing and then taking it onto your developer, who would be your comms person. So
Right.
if you are someone that likes to get in the weeds and look at case study or case law, if you like to see, if you're someone who's like, you know what, we shouldn't tax marijuana because it'll or we should tax medical marijuana because it'll increase our state revenue, blah blah blah. You would be the person that went and looked at what Colorado's doing.
Uh-huh.
If you're someone who is a fan of like Mondani in New York, his policy team is just about unmatched because for everything that he spits out, he always has facts to back it up.
Yep.
He's always got a white paper. He's got research. He can give you I was going to say statistical analysis, but that's part of it. He can give you resources. So not only will he give you the facts, but he will tell you where to go find those facts because his policy team put it in his notes, right? Like what is it? Reference. He can always reference what he's referring to. So anyway, if you are somebody who like loves APA, the writing style, or MMA or MMA, what is the other one I'm thinking about? There's APA and whatever. If you are
APA
someone,
always threw me. I can't even
yes,
go on with
APA
that
is my
anymore.
favorite. The other one, not so much. But if you are
Can't
someone
say
who
favorite.
loves that, then this is the role for you. Absolutely. Media team, come on, Facebook, TikTok, social media, Twitter, all that stuff. If you are someone who loves TV, radio, print, digital advertising, that kind of stuff, this is you, especially if you're a young person in marketing or advertising.
Okay,
These
maybe
are
I'm not young, but I love it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, yes, I'm talking about. This is specifically to the youths who may be feeling a little disillusioned about where their place is in the world right now.
Yeah,
This is for you. This is absolutely for if you can if you can follow your ex on Instagram, you can definitely create some choice content for a candidate.
amen.
If you,
Yeah,
amen.
yeah.
So these are the people that create, edit, distribute, paid and earn content. These are the folks who are in charge of social media. I don't know if you all are on TikTok right now. Have you seen the national parks right now? The national parks TikToks.
No, no.
They are
I'm
so
too busy
nasty.
watching the Iranian ones with the
Okay, okay,
Lego
okay. So
people.
that's another great example. Their
Woo!
media team is, we say what you want about Iran and what's happening. Their social media team is quite literally
Knocking it out of the park. They are
murdering
trolling
us.
us
Yes,
so hard.
so hard.
It
So
hurts
hard. And it
my
is
feelings, and I
it's
don't.
impossible to look away from these little Lego dudes. That and the lyrics, the lyricism, the imagery, the how
The
short and
honesty.
fast it is, the honesty. It's wild. If you are someone who's on TikTok and you're watching like the national parks and the stuff that they're doing, their media teams are making people give a shit about the national parks in a way that they didn't before. It's bringing in younger viewers. If you haven't seen it, Erin,
I
I'm
I haven't seen it. I think
imploring
that
you.
we should share one in the notes of this.
I will not be attaching any of that to any of the content that I put out
Are you
because
serious? Is it that? Is
oh,
it that spicy?
there is a video of a waterfall with a song about keeping it wet in the back. They're playing WAP in the background while a waterfall is going. And if you
I
don't, I'm gonna send it
seriously?
to. It's so
Are you
good.
serious?
The
No,
different
I'm
national
saying, are you
parks.
serious? We can't put it in the show
I'll
notes.
absolutely put it in the show notes. Whatever.
Okay, okay.
Um, it's they keep trying to one up each other. There's this one, it's I don't think it's Yosemite, but they have this song that AI created called It's Not Gay or It's Not That Gay about two cowboys hooking up. And I can't, it's like it's not gay if you're rough and tough. It's not gay to do a little butt stuff. Like,
Okay.
girl, the national parks have completely gone, they are unhinged. But I'm circling it back to why we're talking about
I
this
was
is
gonna say
that media team.
who took them so off track? Okay.
but what they're doing is they're making people care. Like they're getting people
Oh
to
yeah,
look at it.
100%.
And like
100%.
Joshua trees, I was like, well, now I gotta go see the Joshua tree. I got to go. Um, their media teams, I can't even believe how hard I'm smiling because it's so terrible. And the more people are like, this isn't necessary, man, 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 the more views it gets because
Of
people are like, wait,
course.
what?
Of course.
So if you are someone that is creative and loves social media and has a creative way to get messaging out, you absolutely need to be on a media team. You absolutely do. Chef's kiss to whoever started this. It's kind of like when Wendy's and McDonald's and Burger King start snapping at each other on TikTok and Twitter and well, it's formerly known as Twitter. It yes,
Not tap,
yes,
yeah.
yes. Just
So, but
absolutely
the
yes.
cool thing, the other thing is the media team is the person who kind of coordinates with the communication manager to amplify the campaign's voice across platforms. And that looks like different platforms, right? That is not just social media, that is earned media, which is media that you get for free. A lot of you hear people talk about earned media and nobody ever explains what it is. Earned media, what that means is I throw a I throw a press conference, right? And the media shows up and asks me questions. And then they broadcast that on their network or show or stream it or whatever. That them broadcasting their questions, them broadcasting that press release, that is un that is earned media. And it means that you didn't pay for it, but you're still getting the media for it. So that is something that you'll hear people talk about a lot is unearned media. Also, print media, which isn't as big as it used to be, but still very important, especially for
Mhm.
older voters, and radio. And then there's so many platforms out there now that you could get lost in trying to be on every single platform. As far as social media is concerned, it's really important that when you're doing your strategy for a campaign, that you actually look at who you're trying to target and pay attention to the platforms that they're on. You could
Yep.
spend a lot of time in Alaska making videos for TikTok, but you're really probably better suited on Instagram if you want Alaska, right? Alaska and TikTok does not get as many viewers as Instagram does in Alaska.
You
Facebook is,
are
go
yeah.
ahead.
That,
Am I
that was
wrong?
my next thing.
I
If
was going to
no,
say
no,
Facebook is
Facebook
the
is another one for
same,
older.
right?
Yep.
It's definitely skewed older, but
Hmm.
Alaska is also we are a lagger in this one in that we haven't expanded out into as many different social media platforms in the numbers that a lot of people, a lot of states have. And so Alaska, 65 to 70% of people get their news off of Facebook, right? And
Hmm.
so Facebook, if you're doing any Alaska campaign, Facebook is really, really important if you're trying to reach your constituents. Now, the opposite, if you're trying to reach media, believe it or not, it is still X or Twitter. That is where media has gone to live and die. I don't understand it because it's a little bit of a cesspool as far as the comments and stuff, but it is if you want media attention, it's important to put stuff on X or Blue Sky. I mean X or Twitter. That's what it's called.
Another thing to consider, because we keep talking about social media, but podcasts.
Mm,
This last administration did a phenomenal job. I'm talking about the folks in the office now and the executive. They did a phenomenal job of getting Trump's messaging on podcasts. Arguably, podcasting is one of the bigger reasons that the Trump campaign won the election because
I
they
would
were
agree.
able to get to, I think Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn collectively between the two of them have like 30 million listeners
It's a
and
lot of
they were able to
ears.
get that. That's a lot of ears. That's a lot of ears. And those ears are attached to mouths, and those mouths run to their friends. And it definitely has shifted how politics are won and lost in this country. I don't know. I don't have the stats on on podcasting in Alaska in itself, but I can tell you that even if we are lagging, eventually we will catch up. So that is another space to consider if you are a podcaster. Um, this is
Doesn't cost anything to start a YouTube channel.
unfortunately it is really inexpensive to get a microphone. An expensive channel. There's a lot of people with mics that shouldn't have them.
Oh man.
And
Is there
so,
anything else about media that you want to say, Shavon?
mm-mm.
Besides, I think that's probably your favorite, huh?
Yeah, it is. I absolutely love it. I love the podcasting. I love the TikToks. I love all of that stuff. I am definitely uh, unhealthily attached to my screen, and it's where I get a lot of my news from. Is from. I mean, I verify it, right? But a lot of the stuff that interests me, that piques my interest at first, comes from TikTok, and then I go do research and see where else can I find this. Another thing to be, just since we're here, if you are considering a role in media training, then you need to get trained on AI because
Oh,
a lot more people are getting AI is just getting better and more people are getting fooled by it. And your messaging can go sideways really quickly if you repost something that's not true, but it looked true. It sounded true, and you just didn't have the foresight to go research it. So that could get you in a lot of trouble. So media literacy is going to be incredibly important for every role, but specifically for those of us that are in media relations. And then that moves us into community relations. Ooh, this one, yay!
yay. Another one. This seems like it would fit your personality, Siobhan.
Yeah.
So community relations, basically, it is what it says it is. It ensures that the campaign is connected to local groups, tribal organizations, civic clubs, neighborhood associations. They are working to build the trust without the community, with within the community on a person to person level. They are really the people that make sure that the campaign is listening to the people that they want to vote for them and giving that feedback to the campaign and making sure that the campaign is informed by that information before it speaks. And so community relations is in that communications pipeline. It is an integral part of any campaign because you can't do anything if you don't have the community behind you. And so they're the educators, right? They're the ones that go out with your message and kind of educate folks as to what your campaign is about.
Good Lord. Now my thing is stuck. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Talk about our strategy team.
The strategy team. So the strategy team is it's the one of the last slides, but it's actually one of the first things you do. You design the campaign's roadmap to victory. Remember, we said the idea of any campaign is to win, and you might as well not do it if you're not in it to win it, right? The strategy team, as the campaign is going on, analyzes polling and data and voter trends in order to alter the strategy if it needs to be altered, identifies key target voting areas and swing voters. This is very voter centric, so it might just identify key constituencies that you need to win your issue. So, for example, one of the things that we work on at Alaskans Take a Stand is healthcare. We believe that healthcare is a human right, right? And so when we started working on it, we identified that caregivers, both paid and unpaid, were going to be integral to getting any healthcare message through and passed.
Mm-hmm.
And so we work very closely with caregivers, the caregivers unions. We have several caregivers that are contract with us to do nothing but to help us realize our overall goal of have every Alaskan being covered, well, actually every American being covered by healthcare. And so as new inputs come in, the strategy team takes those inputs, whether it be stats or a voter opinion poll or something that the policy team has dug up, and they synthesize that into the strategy that is going to get the campaign over the finish line. So that's kind of what the strategy team does. Do we want to go through a day in the life of a strategist for a
They're
campaign?
boring. No, I'm just kidding. Of course we do.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's, I would not say it's boring. I'd say when I look at it, it's out of my depth. I am a better soldier than I am a general when it comes to strategy. And so that's why I'm like, but no, it's
That's funny.
your
I would
job is to,
disagree.
you think so?
I
Well, that's really
disagree.
nice of you to say. Thank you so
Having
much.
worked with you, yeah,
Well,
but I
thanks.
disagree.
So they're the folks that look at new polling data. They run through turnout modeling for Alaska's early vote period. So where did people come from to early vote? Where didn't they come from? Why didn't they come from there? And how can we get to them next time? Um, Joins community calls or communications calls to refine messaging and testing results. So you're going back to your media person, your comms person, your operations person, and telling them, here's where we need to change the messaging slightly to appeal to this specific demographic over here. So if you are someone who is really good at taking big concepts and bringing them down and making them easier for other people to understand in small chunks, this is for you. If you are someone who enjoys playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers, this is for you, for sure. I like checkers, but I'm more of a Uno kind of girly.
I was gonna say, I have to say that while I am good at strategy, I'm good at political strategy. I
Mhm.
suck at chess. So it's not necessarily, it's not a correlation, I should say.
Oh, I
I
look at
don't
it
think,
like they play chess while everybody's playing checkers because they are the ones that are like, if we move the needle here, right?
yeah.
It's okay. So I think of it. The only sport that I ever played was track and field, but we were very strategic in how we set up relays. Your fastest runner
Mhm.
goes at the end.
I
That's the one that's
remember.
going to hawk everybody. Yeah, your fastest runner is going to be your anchor leg. Your first leg is going to be the person that gets you ahead of everybody else. Your second and third legs are there to maintain in the fight. So if you've got really strong fighters, you want them in the middle because that's where people are going to start to get a little bit weak and a little bit complacent in a longer race, right? Your anchor is going to be the one that's your fastest because of the two people in the middle. If there was a mess up with the handoff, if there was a miscalculation in strides, your anchor is their responsibility to get you towards the end, right? So that is your strategy person. Your strategy person is looking at this like a relay. Who do I need to give more to here to get them there? How do I put my best runners in the positions that they need to be? And that, like I said, that is not my ministry. I just run. I'm just out there. Catch me if you can, snitches. Okay, so the field work, this is the backbone of the campaign. And as Erin mentioned earlier today, these are typically your volunteers. These are your persons that are phone banking. These are the people that are putting up signs. These are the people that are going to rallies. These are the people that are cooking. These are the people that are feeding the staff. These are the people that are like, hey, you don't have mittens. Let me get you some because it's -4 degrees and we're outside. Your volunteers are going to be the make or break for you. Would you agree?
I would, can I just add that,
Please.
especially with field,
Hmm.
yes, it is usually volunteers, but these are the people that are doing the phone banking. These are the people that are doing the door knocking. They're going door to door. These are the people that are getting the names and numbers that your campaign needs to be able to build your email list, to be able to build your contact list. These are the people that are tabling at your events. They know your base they know your top five positions, and they're able to you train them so that they're able to talk to anybody about those issues, and they can also get people in touch with the other people in your campaign if they don't have the answers to the questions. Field work is the backbone of a campaign. However, I will add that for Alaska, field work looks a little bit different than it does in the lower 48 because of our topography and the way we're
Mhm.
set up. Um, you are not going to door knock in Kenai, Alaska, probably. Uh, Even though it's on the road system, it's so spread out and it's so far apart. There might be a few areas there that you can door knock, but not very many. Same thing with the Matanuska Valley. Like there are some areas in there where you could door knock, but you're not going to get very many houses, and it's it can be inhospitable, to put it nicely. Um, Door knocking does happen in Anchorage, but once again, Anchorage is pretty spread out, and we don't have the population density that they do in the lower 48. So, for those of you that are a little bit more kind of political junkies, and you do things like get on national calls with like Indivisible or Popular Democracy or Move On, and they talk about field work, they're talking about door knocking. A lot of times, they're really talking about door knocking. And it just does not work the same in Alaska that it does in the lower 48. So we have to be a little bit more inventive. Field work for us at Stand Up Alaska, we don't do door knocking, not at all. We go to the places where people are and talk to them. We go to festivals and the myriad of craft fairs and all the kinds of things that we have in the summer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We participate in Juneteenth. We have a Pride event. We do weekly, on the weekends, we program Paradise Club at Bernie's Bungalow. We generally consider it kind of like attraction rather than promotion. We go to where people are as opposed to going to their front door because lots of times, especially in Alaska, people do not want you showing up at their front door.
No. And I can
And
tell you, I don't want you coming to my front door.
right, right.
Mm-mm. Stay away from my house.
And so, not to say that not to say that it's not important because it is, but I can tell you, and I will tell you, if you are in Alaska and you want a door knock, go volunteer with one of the unions. They are the best door knockers.
Hmm.
They can pull the maps the best. They know which houses to hit. They do it all the time. In election season, they do it almost every weekend. So there's
Mm.
always an opportunity to go out and door knock. And they they pretty much saturate the neighborhoods of the people that we would talk to. And I don't want to be the fourth person to knock on somebody's door about the same issue.
Yeah.
And I don't want any of our organizers. So we really organize by going out into the field and doing events and things like that, hosting events, that kind of thing. And we leave door knocking to other organizations. The Alaska Center does door knocking as well. The Voter Hub does door knocking as well. Stand Up Alaska is not the place to come if you want to door knock. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. And for the next few slides, it's just different examples of field work. So we talked about canvassing, but there's yard signs, there's literature drops, so you can go and deliver flyers or hang up flyers or posters. We have a couple people that do that specifically, like downtown Anchorage. You can do phone banking, right? Data entry, get out the vote. There are so many different ways that you can participate in field work. If you are someone who enjoys being behind the scenes and not necessarily out front or being the comms person, fieldwork is a great opportunity. If you are feeling like I want to get involved, but I don't know where to start, fieldwork is a great opportunity because no matter where you are in the fieldwork, you are going to be around all of those positions at some point or another. And
Yes,
take
and
that
you will get to
opportunity
learn.
to ask questions. You'll get to learn so much. Take that opportunity to ask questions, ask so many questions, because you might not enjoy uh, office work. You might not enjoy um, tabling. But you might have a really good time doing corner waves. That's one of the things I absolutely love. We got a little Lisa Murkowski cutout and a Dan Sullivan cutout. I love it when Lisa and Dan come out to play. It is so much fun. I absolutely love that kind of stuff. I enjoy I enjoy the small events, the Juneteenths, the Black Caucus events, the Ghoul Out the Vote stuff. That kind of stuff is so much fun to me. But it's also a great opportunity to learn about the things that might be of interest. And then I'm like, now that I've been around a little bit, I don't think I want to do that. Right. So just use it to get your feet wet. Absolutely use it to get your feet wet.
I love it. And I mean, and in essence, I should say that the main purpose of field work is to get the data, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's improving your knowledge about the people that you're trying to connect with. It is getting their contact information and being able to communicate with them. And the bigger your list, the more people that you can talk to, the more you can educate people, the more you can influence the conversation. And so that is that's why field is really, really important. And they say that it is, the basis of any campaign.
It's the
Um,
lifeblood.
it's the lifeblood. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you. I appreciate it and I get it. I just know that it looks different in Alaska. And so
Mm.
you probably hear my resistance to because of how many times I've been told by national partners that we needed to do field work and
Yeah.
we needed to door knock specifically.
Yeah.
And every single one of those folks that I have brought up here that I have taken around Anchorage and said, okay, now tell me about door knocking, especially in the wintertime. They get a whole new appreciation for what that looks like.
And I don't know about you, but most, and I know this from my house, my home, most people I shouldn't say most, let me rephrase that. Quite a few people in Anchorage are gun owners. I am not going up to your door. And at night, when it gets super dark real quick in Alaska, I'm not going to your house. People, not all Alaskans believe in porch lights either. So you don't know who's coming up your driveway. There's the elements, then there's the animal component. So do not come to us expecting us to tell you, oh yeah, you got to go door knock all of Fairview, or we want you out in we want you out in Girdwood door knocking.
No.
Hey, if you could go to Thunderbird Falls and go,
Why? For
absolutely
the
not.
for the 10 people you might get to open up your door, you
Oh,
will have
Campbell
spent
Creek.
three.
It's a fantastic untapped opportunity. Is it? Is it, Joan? Is it? No, thank you. No, thank you. So to do a little bit of a recap of what we talked about. So the first thing we covered was what is a political campaign, and we talked about well the goal of a campaign, which is to win, right? What are the moving parts of a campaign? So the people involved, comms, finance, operations, field work, media, and then finding your place. Where do you fit in? Where do you want to be a part of this? And this is the other thing too. No campaign is the same. And you are free to move about the cabin. So if you like one particular aspect, but you want to dip your toe into something else, nobody's going to tell you, well, you were doing door knocking, so now you can't do phone banking. I can't think of a single campaign that would do that. We want you to feel as empowered as possible to
Well, if
take
they
on
do that,
any
you're not on
roles.
the right campaign. If they do that, you're
Absolutely.
not on the right campaign.
You're in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
We would never. I'm just
Mm-mm.
saying, shameless plug. But finding your place, and if you are super interested in figuring out how to find your place, specifically within Stand Up Alaska, Alaska Take a Stand, the Civics Academy, or any of the other things we do, I would encourage you to come to a food for thought.
26th of every month.
Can you share a little bit more?
Sure. Food for Thought is the 26th of every month. And basically, what it is we provide a meal. Sometimes that's catered, sometimes we cook. It just depends on, sometimes we barbecue. It depends on the day. And we invite the community in to have a conversation about an issue that is affecting all Alaskans. Um, a couple of months ago. I think we did oh, that wasn't food for thought when we had Aaron Baldwin Day in, was it?
No, but it was similar because it was catered, and so we had a
It was a
Alaska
mini Civics
Assemblywoman.
Academy,
It was a
basically.
mini civics academy. We had Erin Baldwin Day come in. She is what does she represent?
She's an
District
assembly
33,
person. She
assembly
represents,
person.
I can't remember what district she represents, but she's
I
an
want
assembly
to say
person.
3, but I could be wrong. But anyway, she came in and she did an entire presentation on how the Anchorage Assembly creates a budget, how the money is spent, and all that goes into Alaska or Anchorage's muni budget, which I didn't think it was going to be that interesting. It was fascinating. And at the end of it, we did a workshop where we had a bunch of different issues affecting the community, and then we had just say like $100 to spend to get all of these issues funded. And there was no way that we'd be able to fund all of the things that needed to be funded. And so she said, okay, so what are you taking money away from? That moment, I was like, I don't ever want to be a part of city council. I don't ever, because there were some impossible choices. And wherever you sit, whatever side of the aisle you're on, as an assembly person, as a politician, when it comes to decisions like that, like one of them was, well, if we take away funding from uh, getting substance treatment for the unhoused, if we take that money away and allocate it towards this, what happens to those folks who have substance issues and are unhoused? What do you do? Well, there's no money, so there's nothing you can do. I mean, it was like somebody threw cold water in all of our face and we're like, oh God, this is what you have to do. I just thought you were people who got voted in to be yelled at. But no, they're making they're making life and death choices. Every single time that they're in session, they're making these choices. And as a constituent, as someone who was a constituent when I lived in Alaska, these are not things that I never thought about how tough that role is. I knew what it was and I knew what they did, but I didn't understand like at the end of the day, every single assembly person has to go home, get in bed, and lay there and think, oh my God, who is not getting service because of the vote that I just did, the vote that I just cast? Who is not getting the things that they need because I went this way with my choice. Am I truly representing my constituents? Oh my God. Like it was fascinating. I had the best time. I
I'll
had the
make
best
sure
and worst time ever.
I'll make sure that that video, we do have a video of that up on our YouTube page, and I'll make sure
Mhm.
that that's linked
Yep.
in as the next video that you should watch, because it was fascinating, and I
Ooh,
always think that the inner workings of government are generally fascinating, and specifically when you have a person or an individual that can explain it as well as Erin does.
she did a great job.
She's really, really good. And we will have her on the channel more often for sure. Um, so anything
So
else?
no, actually, we've been going for about an hour and a half. For those of you who are still here with us, thank you so much for sticking around. For those of you who are watching the snippets and you haven't seen the whole shebang, please go back and watch the rest of the videos to give you a little bit more context. If you have not already scanned that QR code to subscribe to our channel, please do follow us on all socials. We're Alaska Civics Channel or Alaska Take a Stand, Stand Up Alaska on all socials, and we would love to have your support. And if you are someone who's interested in volunteering, please leave a comment. We check our comments pretty frequently, or leave us a comment on social, DM us, send us an email. I'm Shavon at standupalaska.org.
And I am Erin at standupalaska.org. You can email me if you want to. I am not going to swear that I will respond. Yeah, my email is insane every single
It
day.
really is. It really
So
is.
I
I've seen the
really,
inbox. Horror show.
I really
Nightmare.
do, I do try and check my email, whatever, Sean. I do try and check my email, but honestly, the best way to get involved is to email get involved at standupalaska.org, and they can get you into our pipeline so you can start receiving our newsletters or get informed about voting or find out what events that will be at or volunteer. It's all uh it's all open. All you have to do is have a problem and or know that you have a problem and you're already on the way to finding a solution. So I just want to thank everybody for showing up. And ooh, I love this quote. Are you going to end with this quote?
I am.
Oh,
So
well,
this,
wait. I just have
okay.
to stop by saying knowledge is the first step. Okay. Action is the next.
Yep.
So I expect people to dip in and get involved because this is your democracy just as much as it is mine. And we all have to come and sit at this table that we call a community and figure out how we're going to make the changes that we want to see. So, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Siobhan so she can shut us out, close us out, shut us.
So, Rebecca Solnit is an American author, historian, and activist known for her powerful writing on democracy, feminism, climate change, and social movements. One of the many books she wrote, this speaks to me on a cellular level, is called A Paradise Built in Hell, which Paradise Built in Hell in the Dark, which argues that progress often begins in uncertainty, and a Paradise Built in Hell, which highlights how communities come together during disasters. And right now, shit's getting real. She says that hope is not a lottery ticket you can sit on the sofa and clutch, feeling lucky. It's an axe you break down doors with in an emergency. Hope should shove you out the door because it will take everything you have to steer the future away from endless war, from the annihilation of the earth's treasures and the grinding down of the poor and marginal. To hope is to give yourself to the future, and that commitment to the future is what makes the present inhabitable. So, for
Mm,
those of you who may be feeling hopeless, let that sit with you.
mm,
Every time you hope, it is an act of resistance, much like joy, and it makes it manageable to stay in the present. Having said that, thank you for watching and stay wild, do 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 do, wild about Anchorage. Nothing can change my mind, do 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 do. Wild,
mm. Wild
wild about
about
Anchorage.
Anchorage,
It's
it's
a
a marvelous find.